spot, bringing stats like a kingpin. MMA knowledge, nieces, nephews all lean in. Breaking down fights, codes that daddy's supreme on. Just a tip show, he's cooking up a dream. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand, MMA guru, more than just a fan. Wanna know the numbers? Weezy got them cataloged. From the fighters reach down to how many times they dog. Just a tip living, breaking it down slick. Hit you with the knowledge, won't miss a single trick. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand, MMA guru, more than just a fan. Balls deep predictions, he be making those calls. Getting in the details, opponents feeling small. From jabs to takedowns, got the whole fight ID. Uncle Weezy spitting truth, no lie, keep it G. Blow the horn, blow the horn. Stat Daddy Weezy not showing no scorn. Fight Night Kingdom, he wearing the crown. Break it down for the peeps, never looking like a clown.
Oh, yes. What's going on, everybody? You ready for UFC 311? Because we just got a last-minute shuffle here. There is going to be no Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan fight. Arman Tsarukyan is hurt. He's got a bad back. He cannot fight. And in steps Renato Money Moicano on less than 1 day's notice to take the championship fight. Beneil Dariush, I think, is going to get a show check and hopefully a ticket to UFC 311 so he could watch. But yeah, he's got no fight. So wild stuff happening at the last minute here. There was a lot of whispers about Arman's health and stuff. And yeah, here we are. Canceled main event for UFC 311. And we got Moicano stepping in. Still got a really good co-main event. Still got a really good pay-per-view card. Still got a really good card from top to bottom, actually. But this is a wild one now. Now we're only down to 13 fights as the Moicano fight with Dariush is not happening. So that one is off of the card. And instead of Tsarukyan versus Makhachev, we're going to have Moicano versus Makhachev for the UFC lightweight championship of the world. Looking forward to this card. Hello to everybody that's hanging out here. Appreciate each and every one of you for popping in and talking UFC 311 with your Uncle Weezy here. I'm going to take you guys through a quick full card breakdown here, and then I'm going to give you guys a Greasy 4-leg parlay, which I have already queued up and ready to go. And then we're going to talk to the chat and see what you guys think about this card, see what you guys are betting on, and see if we can find ways to stack cashed tickets like flapjacks together for UFC 311. This is going to be one of the best cards of the year. And with the late drama that we have added to it, it's going to make it even more watchable and even more exciting. So really looking forward to breaking this one down with you guys. If you want to get access to all of the things that you are going to see in today's show, you can join the Patreon. You can join the Dub Club. The links are in the description of this video. Let me share my screen with you guys here for a minute. Actually, I'm not just for a minute. We're going to share it for the whole show so you don't have to see me full screen. And yeah, we've got the advanced stats. We have the over-under betting models. We've got the prop betting models for every fight on the card. We've got the fight write-ups, which are available for every fight on the card, where you talk about the recent fights and results, the recent trends, recency bias, the market accuracy of the money line of both fighters, the sum up of the strength of schedule of both fighters and who has the advantage, the sum up of the distance striking stylistic components and who has the edge, the sum up of the clinch and grappling stylistic components and who has the edge there, the strengths and weaknesses of each fighter, a summary, and a pick and best bets. So if you guys want to get access to all of this information, access to the Discord where I post all of my tracked bets, access to these fight write-ups, access to these individuals, fighter stats packages, matchup stats, betting models, and then in addition to all of that information, which I make available to you, you're going to get access to over 4 hours worth of subscriber-only content. I've already done over 4 hours worth of content on my YouTube channel that most of you aren't going to see because it's only for the people who support me on Patreon and Dub Clubs. So please take a look at that information. I've got access to about as much as you could possibly need if you are a do-it-yourself UFC bettor. If you're not, you can still just trail my tracked bets and my picks, which my tracked bets really started to get a little bit going here towards the end of the year. We're on a nice little upward trend. And then my picks and return on investment of those picks, according to the UFC predictions channel, predictions tracker channel, best in 2024 last year. So come with me. Join us here at your Uncle Weezy's Patreon and Dub Club. Get on board, and we will try to crush 2025 together. But let's go. Let's talk about all of these fights. We're going to start with Tagir Ulanbekov versus Clayton Carpenter. So I was encouraging everybody to wait on this fight. I'm picking Ulanbekov by decision. That was the pick early in the week. But what I was saying was, you got to wait to see Tagir on the scale. This guy always has rough weight cuts. He's huge for the division. He's very skinny, and he pulls out of more fights than he shows up for. So it's really kind of hard to be confident about any Tagir Ulanbekov fight until you actually see him show up, weigh in, make weight, and look good. And he didn't look good. He never looks good. I don't think Tagir Ulanbekov has ever looked good a day in his life, but relatively so, he looked all right today on the scales. He was one of the first people to the scales. He made weight. So because of that, Ulanbekov, I believe, is a little bit better everywhere than Clayton Carpenter. He's more experienced. He's taller. He's longer. He's the better striker. He's the better grappler, and he's fought the much better brand of competition over his career. So I think the responsible pick here, because Clayton Carpenter is such a good prospect, he showed in the Edgar Chairez fight that the kid's got a lot of guts. He can come back after losing early in a fight. So I think Carpenter is going to keep this somewhat close, but I am picking Ulanbekov to win this one by decision. All right, next fight, Ricky Turcios versus Bernardo Sopai. So Sopai is a very young prospect, only 24 years old, out of Albania, has fought on that regional scene over where on the southeastern regional scene, southeastern European regional scene, before moving to Sweden to train over at All Stars and kind of getting with some bigger organizations. Turcios doesn't fight often, about a once a year guy, and he had to pull out of the last fight because of weight cutting issues. That was supposed to happen against Sopai at the end of 2024. Here we are again. I think Sopai wins this one by decision. I'm still not a believer in his finishing ability up here at this level yet. I think we got to find out a lot more about this kid because he is still very young. And even though he's looked good on the regional scene, and he looked really good against Vinicius Oliveira when they fought, Turcios is an experienced veteran with a great gas tank, pretty good durability, and definitely a lot of output. This guy throws a lot of offense. He stays very busy. He's very scrambly when you try to take him down. So you can take him down, but it's hard to hold him down. And he can wear on you, and he can kind of take over in fights late if you don't have great conditioning. So this is not something where I see Sopai just running through a guy like Turcios. But Turcios, even when he wins, it's usually by split decision. So I'm not a big enough believer in Turcios' ability to put space between him and his opponent and really kind of like get the eyes of the judges. So I'm going with Sopai to win this one by decision here. The next fight, Rinya Nakamura versus Muin Gafurov. We got Nakamura decision as the pick. However, I have a bet on the under 2.5 rounds in this fight at plus 185. Gave that out on the Patreon and the Dub Club on Sunday. This is one where I do see Nakamura definitely having a chance to finish this fight, but Muin Gafurov has traditionally been very durable. 6 career losses, only one of them a finish, and it came against Said Nurmagomedov. He got caught in his ninja choke. That's just one place you don't want to be. Said can finish that choke against anybody. So Nakamura against Gafurov. Gafurov is a difficult opponent to deal with because he's just trying to kill you at every stretch of the fight. Whenever it's on the feet, he's swinging from the hip and trying to take your head off. And I think he's live to do it, to be honest with you. Nakamura is a phenomenal prospect. Everybody knows the story of this kid. His dad is one of the founders of Shuto. He grew up next to Kid Yamamoto. You know, he's been in the mixed martial arts fight game since he was a very young child and seen everything that goes into it. His dad got him started wrestling, and he's a under 23 world champion in freestyle wrestling. So this kid's got the pedigree. He's got the best base for MMA, and he looks the part. But he's crushing cans, everybody. So this is a step up for him. Muin Gafurov has 20. This will be his 25th professional fight. He's got 18 wins. He's got a 90% finish rate in his wins. He's got a Sambo background. He can wrestle. He's got power on the feet. He's scrappy. He will fight through being tired. So because this is such a step up for Nakamura, I think the responsible pick, if I'm trying to figure out how this one plays out stylistically. Oh, by the way, sorry, you guys, not really paying attention. I've just got Oi scrolling across the screen. These are lines from Wednesday, so I don't know exactly where they are right now, and I'm not going to type them all out for you. But Ulan Bekov minus 300, Carpenter plus 250. We had Sopai at about minus 255, Tercios plus 215. And here we've got Nakamura as a pretty big favorite over Gafurov. But I think the responsible thing to do here, because I believe Nakamura is the much better wrestler and control time grappler compared to Muin Gafurov, is that Nakamura, to not get knocked out, just needs to take this guy down and top time him. However, I think Gafurov's live for a finish, and I think Rinya is going to be live to finish Gafurov as well, because Gafurov is going to be down to come down and get into the pocket and swing bombs. And I think both guys, if that happens, are going to be live to knock each other out. And I also believe that Gafurov constantly puts himself in bad positions. So I could see Nakamura getting a ground and pound finish or a submission as well here, if he's as good as everybody thinks that he is in the grappling range. I still think he's got a lot to prove. So I've got a bet on the under, but the pick is Nakamura to win by decision, because I think the responsible path to victory to him would be to get takedowns early and often, stay on top, get to half guard, and just top time him, land some ground and pound, and win the minutes of the fight. Next fight is going to be Karol Hosa versus Alan Perez. Now, I am picking Karol Hosa to win this one by decision, but I have a small bet on Karol Hosa to win in rounds 2 or 3. I Dutched it to get plus 738 on DraftKings Sportsbook, plus 1,400 round 2, plus 1,800 round 3. Alan Perez has slowed down late in fights, and she slows down because she grapples a lot, and offensive grappling can be very, very exhausting. We've seen Karol Hosa go out there and get top timed by Norma Dumont, by Sarah McMahon, but those fighters are a lot more experienced and are much better wrestlers than Alan Perez is. Well, I don't know if Dumont's a better wrestler than Alan Perez, but she's a better fighter for sure. And I think Hosa's fought the much better brand of competition. She's going to be the much better striker. And I think that if Perez struggles trying to get the takedowns here, that she's going to get outworked on the feet. And if she does sell out for the wrestling and is unsuccessful, keeping Karol Hosa on the mat, I think she's going to gas out late, like we saw in the Lucy Pudilova fight. And I think that potentially Karol Hosa, who's 100% of her UFC fights have seen the scorecards, I think we could potentially see a finish here on the Hosa side if Alan Perez gets very tired trying to grapple unsuccessfully. The pick is Hosa by decision, but I have a small bet, quarter unit, on at plus 738. I put the 1,400 and the 1,800 in a proportion where no matter which one hit, if one of them did hit, I would make the same amount of money either way. So yeah, plus 738, quarter unit on Hosa to win in rounds 2 or 3, but the pick is Hosa by decision. Next fight, Zach Reese versus Azamat Bekoev. So I like this Bekoev kid. I think he's a really good fighter. He's got solid boxing. He's really technically sound. He keeps his hands high. He's defensively responsible, and he's got a little bit of pop. And he's a very good wrestler. He can get takedowns. He can get top time, and he can win minutes on top. He's good position over submission type of grappler. And I think Bekoev could beat Reese. But on 1 week's notice, I don't like this fight for him. Bekoev versus Lucas Fernando was a fight that I did not like the look of how Bekoev won that fight. He was losing all of the distance striking exchanges, but he would get takedowns against Fernando, and then as soon as he got the takedown, the round was over. Fernando was showing no get-up game, no urgency off of his back. He was trying to play BJJ off his back. Didn't really work. But Zach Reese is a lot bigger than Lucas Fernando. And this guy's power, I think, is excellent, and his Brazilian jiu-jitsu is very opportunistic. So with Bekoev being a guy that fights kind of on thin margins, in my opinion, he's not going to go out there and maul you on the feet. He's not like this guy that like will pick you up and slam you through the canvas when he takes you down. He's going to kind of weasel on a single leg, try to lace your legs and just try to kind of keep you down. Even if Bekoev has success getting takedowns, in my opinion, I don't know that he's going to hold Reese down. I don't know that he's going to win minutes when he's on top by landing ground and pound. And when this is on the feet, I don't think it's going to be close, man. Zach's way bigger than this guy, way taller than this guy, a lot more powerful. He's got huge fists. The body kicks that this dude throws are serious problems. I thought he was going to explode that poor Medina's liver. I mean, he kicked Medina so many times in the body. I don't know how that dude made it through that fight, but I think Zach Reese is not just going to beat this dude. I think he's going to finish him. And if he doesn't, I think he's still going to win the fight on damage, even though he's probably going to get top time for a decent amount of this fight. I think Bekoev's fighting on really thin margins here. And if you're laying minus 200 on somebody that's fighting on very thin margins, I don't think that's a very good plan at all. So I got 1 unit on Zachary Reese's money line, and I'm flat out picking him to win this fight and win it early. Like I said, if it was a full camp for Bekoev and I could count on him to get takedowns in every round and have a game plan that would allow him to do that against Zach Reese, I think that's good. But I think Zach Reese is going to find knees when this guy shoots in. I think he's going to have uppercuts for him. I think he could knock him out on the way in. I think he could submit him on the mat, and I think he can knock him out on the feet. So I'm surprised that Zach Reese is plus money here, and I really like the money line play at plus 170. Next fight, Grant Dawson versus Diego Ferreira. Diego did not look good on the scales today. I'm picking Grant Dawson to win by decision, but I could absolutely see him getting a late finish as well. I think Diego Ferreira is a phenomenal fighter. And when you look at his resume, he's fought the better brand of competition compared to Grant Dawson. He's a high-level Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, and he's the better striker here. He's the far more dangerous fighter, while this is at distance striking range. So I get all the reasons for backing Diego Ferreira, but I want to just remind everybody that when this guy fought Mateus Rombeski last time, the market had Rombeski as a minus 500 favorite over Diego Ferreira. So just one fight ago, the entire mixed martial arts betting market was shoveling dirt on this dude's grave. And he absolutely got smoked in round number 1. And then Rombeski kind of just went away, and he didn't have much left. And Ferreira took over in the second half of the fight and got the late finish. Grant Dawson's 9 years younger than this guy. If you look at the trajectory of both guys' careers, you know, you're seeing Diego Ferreira get finished on the mat by Gregor Gillespie, get finished on the mat by Mateusz Gamrot. I think Grant Dawson's going to rinse this dude on the mat. I think he's going to get his back in every round that happens. I think Grant is going to get to Ferreira's back and stay there. And I think he's going to have potential to get a ground and pound knockout. I think he's going to have a potential to get a submission. And I think if he doesn't do either of those things, he's going to win a dominant decision here. I think Grant Dawson's on a completely different level right now than Diego Ferreira. And I think he's going to make it look easy, despite the fact that this is a very difficult test for him. These guys are at two completely different places in their career right now. Ferreira, does he have a puncher's chance? Of course. Is Grant Dawson going to take him down in every round? Yes. Is Diego Ferreira going to give up his back in a scramble in every round? Yes. Is there a high probability that Grant Dawson gets his back and locks in the body triangle when he does give up his back? I believe so. So I think Grant Dawson's going to not only win this fight, I think he's going to make it look pretty easy here, you guys. So going with Grant Dawson by decision, But I do believe that a finish is very much in play for him, especially with Diego not looking good on the scales here today. Bogdan Guskov versus Billy Elekana. We got Guskov around minus 300, Elekana plus 250. Fight doesn't go to decision, juiced up here at minus 325. I'm picking Bogdan, but I'm picking him to win by decision. I'm not a believer in Bogdan Guskov yet. I know that this dude has power and he hits different, but as far as, a mixed martial arts skill set where I feel like, Bogdan can win fights if plan A does not, pan out. I don't see that from this guy. I see this guy being, knockout or bust on the feet. But with Billy Elekana, I see a Samoan guy who's going to have ridiculous durability. He's never been finished as a professional. He's fought a pretty good level of competition, not just as a professional, but this guy fought Ty Gwerder and Brian Battle as an amateur as well. So Billy's a solid prospect from good lineage. I think he's got some family that's close to other guys in that scene. So I think, he's been well coached. He's gotten the right fights, and now he's getting his, UFC debut against a beatable opponent in Bogdan Guskov. But what I've seen from Elekana on tape is very underwhelming. I think he looks technical, but he's very low volume. I don't see him offensively wrestling a whole lot on tape. And I see him kind of waiting to land the big shot. And I think if he does that against Bogdan, he's probably going to get out-volumed a little bit. I don't really know how much I can count on his cardio to hold up for 15 minutes when he's taking the fight on less than a week's notice. And I think Bogdan's going to land the bigger shots on the feet here. But I'm going to trust Elekana's durability, the fact that he's never been finished, and the fact that he is kind of a low-volume striker who can get involved a little bit in kind of staring matches. I could see this fight winding up in the clinch a lot. I could see these guys kind of staring at each other a lot. Big cage, low volume, durable striker, and Billy Elekana. I'm picking for this one to go over, to go to decision, and I'm thinking Bogdan Guskov is going to get the nod here. Next fight, Jailton Almeida versus Sergey Spivac. We got Almeida is a pretty big favorite here at minus 440-ish. Sergey plus 340. Fight doesn't go to decision. Juice to the tits at minus 350. I'm picking Jailton Almeida to win this one by first round knockout. I don't like what I've seen from Spivac's grappling. What's his name? Old man Olynyk got him in some really bad spots, had him in a scarf hold at the end of the second, had him mounted at the end of the first. And Jailton's just going to wrestle nonstop. Jailton is not comfortable on the feet. He's going to shoot immediately. He's going to start these grappling exchanges. And I think if he gets put in a bad spot, Sergey is going to be able to hurt him. I think Sergey by KO is a really sneaky look this week, but I'm picking violence here. I've got a big bet, a 3-unit bet on fight doesn't start round 3 for this fight, because I see Jailton either getting an early finish or Sergey maybe Jailton getting a little sloppy trying to get to the back, and he winds up underneath Sergey and winds up getting ground and pounded out. I could see that happening as well. So I could see either guy getting a finish here. And if you look at the betting model that I have available on my Patreon and Dub Club for this fight, I saw something that, looked like a good plus EV way to play this fight. And that's, you could see here at fight doesn't go to decision for minus 350. In row number 15 of the spreadsheet, all 6 of Jailton Almeida's UFC fights have finished inside the distance if they were scheduled for 3 rounds. And for Spivac, his 3-round fights have finished inside the distance 6 of 9 times. So combined, 80% of Spivac and Almeida's fights are finishing inside the distance at the UFC level. But it's also important to note, when are they finishing, right? Well, most of them are finishing in round 1. 7 of those 12 are finishing in round 1, but the other 5, they end up finishing in round 2. So 100% of these guys' UFC finish conditions, whether they're winning the fight or whether they're losing the fight, the finish happens in round 1 or 2. And the difference between fight doesn't go to decision and fight doesn't start round 3 is minus 350 and minus 180. So you could see, if you look at line number 27 of the spreadsheet, that is the sum of rows 12, 18, and 19 in the spreadsheet. So when you look at that row 27, for fight doesn't start round 3 at minus 180 available on DraftKings, you're looking at 94.4% of their pro fights. And that's all 17 of 18 finishes have happened on as professionals in rounds 1 or 2. And at the UFC level, they've all happened in rounds 1 or 2 as well. So it loves it, 31.43% in total savings. And I believe that the stylistic components of this matchup also spell out violence. So while I'm betting the violence here and picking Almeida, I could see either guy getting a finish. So that's why I have the big bet on the under in this fight. So Almeida KO round 1 is the pick for that fight. We got a massively blown out line here on Talbott versus Barcelos. I got Talbott KO round 2 here. Hani's just too old. He's 37 years old, and Talbott's just so explosive. You know, his youth is one of his best attributes, and he uses that by pushing a heavy pace, using his conditioning, using his durability. That chin hasn't been cracked yet. So Talbott, I think that this fight's going to finish in rounds 1 or 2. I think he's going to really put a pace on Hani. And, you know, I just don't think Hani has much left in the tank here. But at minus 1,050 for Talbott's money line, that automatically means that the props are going to be ass on Talbott as well. The only value is on the Barcelos side if you're a gambler. Otherwise, you're gonna overpay for Peyton Talbott. You might hit your bet, but those are minus EV bets in the long term. Don't play props on a minus 1,100 favorite, you guys. It's going to go tits up more times than it doesn't for you. I think my favorite bet on this fight would be Hani Barcelos by submission at around plus 1,800, plus 2,000. I think that's how he wins this fight. You know, Talbott makes a mistake in the grappling exchanges, and this guy, Barcelos, who's a high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he's got good wrestling, snatches up a rear naked choke if Peyton makes a mistake in a scramble somewhere. So I think that's my favorite way to play this fight. But yeah, of course, I'm picking Peyton Talbott here, and I'm going with second round knockout. Next fight, we had this one as a pick-em when I broke this fight down on Wednesday night. Holland versus Reinier de Ridder. I'm picking Reinier de Ridder here to win by second round submission. Kevin Holland is a phenomenal fighter at 170 pounds. This guy's going out there and having close striking matches with elite strikers like Michael Venom Page, like Jack Della Maddalena. And he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Travis Lutter. He's got a good ground game. But if he's fighting at 185 pounds, he's not taking MMA seriously. Like it or not, weight cutting is a big part of this sport. It just is. You know, you cannot just think that you're going to be able to be the guy that doesn't cut weight and it's not going to catch up with you. We've never seen Kevin Holland have any grappling success at 185 pounds outside of the Jacare Sosa fight. And Jacare was 57 years old when he fought Kevin Holland. So this guy de Ridder is so much bigger than Kevin, so much stronger than Kevin. He's a much better wrestler. He's a much better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu player. It's just how it goes. Kevin Holland has some accolades and all this, but at 185 pounds, what he doesn't have is takedown defense or a get-up game. And Reinier is probably going to make this one look pretty easy, you guys. And the steam just keeps coming in. I mean, Reinier is almost minus 130 now. He was plus 150 when I first saw the line on this. So I think the market's getting it right. But if you're on that Holland side, there's obviously paths to victory for Kevin Holland. For instance, one path to victory would be if he started giving a shit about MMA and practicing. But he's not doing that. See, that's the thing. You know that Kevin Holland is taking it seriously if he's weighing in at 171 pounds or below. When he's getting on that scale at 185, he's not taking it seriously because he's not a middleweight. He can't grapple with these guys. And the biggest hole in the game is the takedown defense and the grappling. And he's fighting a guy in Reinier de Ridder that exclusively does that in order to be able to win fights. He doesn't have striking. You know, this guy, people were talking about how shitty the performance was against Meerschaert. Really? Meerschaert, 27 wins to the submission. and Renier goes out there and rinses him on the mat, and that's a bad performance because he absorbed a couple of shots on the feet. Dude, that fight took place in control time positions for the majority of the fight. And Renier de Ritter was toying with the guy with 27 wins by submission as a pro. So I don't like this for Kevin Holland. I think he needs to move back down to 170. I think he needs to start taking his career seriously again. And until he does that, I'm going to be fading him and making money doing so. So Renier de Ritter by second round submission is the pick there. Next fight would have been Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano, but we do not have that fight. So we're going to go on to Yuri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. I'm picking Jamal Hill by decision. Both of these guys are very durable. Now, I think we don't think that they're as durable now because their last three combined fights have been, three of their last four combined fights have been against Alex Pereira. We just saw Jamal Hill knocked out by Alex Pereira. We've seen Yuri be knocked out by Alex in 2 out of his last 3 fights. So the durability on paper seems to be waning for both, but neither one of these guys are Alex Pereira. So are we going to see either one of these guys win by knockout? I mean, I absolutely think it's possible. And there's no way, as much as I think that there's a chance this fight goes to decision, there's no way I'm betting it. And here's why. These guys' striking defense is just horrible, everybody. I mean, you look at this, and I mean, you could look here at these numbers, which they're not as meaningful. 40% striking defense for Prochazka, 46 for Jamal Hill. Those numbers don't mean anything. These are the numbers that mean something. This is distance striking defense because you got to strip out the clinch and the ground striking exchanges because those strikes land at about 80% on average, while distance strikes land at a much lower percentage on average. So this is where you get a better read. But my God, Yuri Prochazka, distance striking defense, 47%. The divisional average is 57%. He's 10% below the divisional average. That's like a couple of standard deviations outside the mean there. While for Jamal Hill, it's bad as well, but it's a little bit better at 50.6. So it's over 3% better than Yuri's. But these guys just get hit too much, and they're too powerful. Like Yuri's got a ton of power. Jamal Hill's got a ton of power. So I got to believe that somebody's going to get served here. And I understand that picking, Hill by decision isn't necessarily, something I want to do because, I don't think this fight goes 15 minutes, but at the same time, I haven't seen these guys knocked out by anybody but Alex Pereira. So if Alex Pereira isn't going to be in that cage, I'm going to go with Jamal Hill to be the better minute winner to avoid those massive strikes from Yuri in the big cage, be able to move and win the minutes of this fight and bank a decision. So that's the look there. That's what I'm picking. Jamal Hill by decision, but I would not be surprised to see either guy get a knockout there, and I'm not betting any overs. As a matter of fact, I got no bets on this fight. It'll be one of the most fun fights on the card to watch. I'm a big fan of both of these guys, and I don't need to have money on this one because I could see it happening and playing out in a number of different ways. I don't have a good read on it, so I'm staying away from it. Co-main event. For the Bantamweight Championship of the world, we have the current champion in Merab, the Machine Dvalishvili, going up against Umar Nurmagomedov. We got Nurmagomedov as a big favorite here at -300. I'm going the other way. I'm picking Merab Dvalishvili to win this fight by decision. So Umar is a technically perfect fighter. I love watching this guy fight. He's just so good everywhere. He's very calm in there. He does an excellent job of maintaining distance with his strikes. He throws so many kicks, and he uses those kicks to be able to touch his opponent when his opponent can't touch him, and he absorbs very little damage on the feet. And because he's a Nurmagomedov, he has that wrestling in his back pocket that he's able to go to whenever he feels like he doesn't want to strike with his opponent, or if he just feels like, hey, look, I'm a better grappler than this individual, like he did in the Bekoev Almeida fight. He's like, why even give this guy a chance to land a lucky punch on the feet when I can easily take him down and just lay on top of him for the full 15 minutes? So that's what he did. So Umar is somebody that's going to beat everybody that tries to be technical against him, that tries to win minutes against him. Merab Dvalishvili is not a technical fighter. He's not a clean, crisp striker. He's not a dangerous Brazilian jiu-jitsu finisher who's going to get you to the mat and have 9 different ways to submit you. He's really not even a great wrestler with great control time. When you look at the way that he's winning fights and then you look at his control time numbers, they're not really where they appear they should be. But what Merab does well is force you to fight a dirty, grimy fight. Not a technical fight. This guy's not technical. But he can out-wrestle Henry Cejudo. You know, he can outstrike Peter Yan. He can go out there and finish guys like Marlon Moraes after, being very durable and weathering a storm early in a fight. What Merab has is like this uncanny ability to be able to constantly fight and put offense in your face. He's durable enough to take what you bring back, and he just makes you defend constantly. Umar should not be minus 300 against you guys. And I'd be interested to hear what you guys say in the chat, but how do you make Umar minus 300 over Merab when Umar barely looked minus 150 versus Corey Sandhagen? I would encourage anybody that thinks that Umar Nurmagomedov dominated Corey Sandhagen to go back and watch that fight. Did Umar have Corey in any trouble in any round? Did he land any big strikes? In the first 4 rounds, did he ever once get Corey Sandhagen's back to the mat and keep him there for more than 3 seconds? Dude, he barely won that fight. I know because he was the 4th leg of the Greasy 4-legger that week, which cashed. And I remember watching that fight going, after it finished, I go, yeah, I think Umar ever won every round. I think it's 50-45, but man, I don't know. So I don't see how you make him like this. Corey shot 0 takedowns, you guys. Corey did some pressuring, but he didn't pressure like Merab pressures. He didn't shoot any takedowns. I think Merab's going to get Umar on the back feet. I don't think he's going to let him get his kicking game going. I think he's going to stay in his face. I think he's going to clinch up with him. I think he's going to shoot bad takedowns. And when Umar defends the takedown, I think he's going to come up and land strikes. And as soon as he lands those 2 strikes, he's going to shoot in on another takedown and wait until Umar stuffs that one and then come up and land more strikes. This guy beat Jose Aldo with getting 0 takedowns. Even if you watch the Yan fight, he didn't really take down Peter and hold him down for extended stretches. He just made him defend the entire time. So I think Merab is a nightmare matchup for literally any UFC bantamweight. I don't see how you can make him plus 250 against anybody, so I have to be a part of it. 1 unit, Merab Dvalishvili money line at plus 250 on Caesars. I played it, and I'm picking him to win this fight, you guys. Umar's got to prove it to me that he can fight a dirty fight, a not technical fight against a guy who's not going to get tired, who's not going to fuck off, who's going to stay in his face for the full 25 minutes and frustrate him. So I'm going with Merab Dvalishvili to win by decision. Which brings us to the main event of the evening. And there's no prediction on this fight yet because it just got made about an hour ago, you guys. Islam Makhachev versus Renato Money Moicano. I don't know where Moicano's better than Islam right now. The size... Here, let me do this. So we've got this. I've got Moicano. We'll take that. We'll cut it. And then we'll go back here to Makhachev Tsarukyan. And we're going to plug these numbers in now. So now we got Makhachev versus Moicano. The only thing that's not right here is I'm not going to put Moicano's last 5 fights. So now we've got the stats up here on the screen. We can take a look. Moicano is going to be the higher volume striker. You know, Islam's only attempting 7 distance strikes per minute and landing at a 50% clip, but Moicano stays a little bit busier. And interesting enough, it's Moicano who's taller, 1 inch taller here. He's got a 2-inch reach advantage, and it's going to be a southpaw versus orthodox matchup. So we're going to see the big power weapons open for both guys. For Moicano, the straight right, the right kicks, and for Islam, the straight left, the left kicks. So Islam Makhachev wins 84% of the control time positions in his fight and gets about 48% control time, while Moicano wins about 68% of the control time positions in his fights and controls his opponents about 23% of the time. He gives up 10.8% control time. A lot of that came in the Dos Anjos fight, which he took on 1 week's notice. Less than 1 week's notice, as a matter of fact. So I think Moicano, while this is on the feet, is going to be fine. I think he's going to be competitive in the striking exchanges with Islam Makhachev. I think that Moicano has just as good of Brazilian jiu-jitsu than Islam Makhachev. Obviously, what the big difference here is the offensive wrestling, the defensive wrestling, the ability to be able to win minutes in those grappling exchanges. If somebody's out there shooting takedowns, who's going to wind up on top landing ground and pound? It's probably going to be Islam. When you compare the strength of schedule numbers, you see that Islam's been fighting the better brand of competition and he has the better wins. Islam's going to have to wrestle here, though, you guys. I feel like he's going to have to get this fight to the ground, because I don't think he's much better than Moicano at distance striking range. I think Moicano has very clean striking, excellent boxing, and like we already said, he's going to be the taller, longer guy here. And Tsarukyan is an orthodox fighter, if I'm not. Yeah, he is an orthodox. So it's not like Makhachev is going to see a southpaw now after he was training for an orthodox. He was training for an orthodox fighter, but he was training for a 5'7" orthodox fighter, not a 5'11" orthodox fighter. So Moicano is going to have to keep this standing, and I think if he does, he's going to have a chance to win some of the minutes here. But I've got to go with Islam to win, just because the ground game, I think the top control, the wrestling is what sets him apart from Renato Moicano. And I think that he's going to be able to get those takedowns when he wants them and win those minutes on top and in the grappling exchanges. So I'm going to pick Islam Makhachev. And I think he's going to get a later finish here. I'm going to go with a 4th round submission, because Renato was not training for 5 rounds. He's training for a 3-round fight. So I believe that Makhachev is probably going to be able to wear him out and finish him late. But if Moicano can keep this standing, I think it's going to be a very interesting fight for sure. So that's it, you guys. That's our full card breakdown. Let's give you a dog pick of the week here. So let's start off with the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week. And you can see the recap here. I'm picking a favorite. I'm picking an underdog in Merab. Jamal Hill's a small favorite. DeRitter was a pick 'em when I bet him, but like he's a small favorite now. Talbott favorite, Almeida favorite, Guskov favorite, Dawson favorite, Reese underdog, Hosa favorite, Nakamura favorite, Sopai favorite, and Bekoev favorite. So the dog pick of the week this week is going to be, I'm gonna take a 250 money line on a current champion in Merab Dvalishvili to go out there and get a win. So while I also think that Zach Reese is a phenomenal underdog pick this week, I think he's got a lot of potential paths to victory against Azamat Bekoev if he doesn't get successfully crotch sniffed for the full 15 minutes. I think it could be wall install, crotch sniffing, lay and pray on the Bekoev part, but I think that Reese will do more damage and get a win on the scorecards or get a finish. So I think Reese is a good underdog pick, but we're going with Merab Dvalishvili's money line at plus 250 for the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week, which leaves us with one order left of business in the main card breakdown. It's going to be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. And what we always try to do here is not just pick somebody who's going to win, you guys, but somebody who's going to win and win violently. We're looking for a finish here. And I'm going with Reinier de Ridder to shave the ass of Kevin Holland. I think Kevin, just by showing up for fights in the middleweight division of the UFC, means that he's not taking it seriously. And I think we're going to see him kind of like taking these deep breaths and kind of going like this on the ground while Rainier's on top of him or has his back. Maybe he'll have a half choke sunk in and he'll give a thumbs up to the camera while he just lost another 10-9 round by giving up another 4.5 minutes of control time to Reinier de Ridder. But I think Reinier de Ridder is going to finish him. I think he's going to show that there are levels on the ground here, that he's the much more committed and aggressive grappler. And I think we're going to see him get to a dominant position on Holland, land some ground and pound, and find a rear naked choke to finish the fight. So Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. Who's going to win? Who's going to win violently? And who's got a betting line that you can actually profit from it? I think Reinier de Ridder, I think he satisfies all three categories. I think he wins. I think he wins violently. And I think he does it at an economical price, which is available around minus 125 right now. So full card breakdown, done. Dog pick of the week, done. Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, done. And then last week, I made you guys wait until the very end for the Greasy 4-leg parlay. But who wants to get the Greasy 4-leg parlay out of the way right now? Let's do it. Let's figure out the Greasy 4-leg parlay. Then we'll talk to the chat here and see what you guys are up to this Friday afternoon, how you're betting these fights, how you're planning to stack cash tickets like flapjacks. And you can all tell me how excited you are to join the Patreon, join the Dub Club so you can get access to these probability show notes with the plus EV bets that we found on every single fight on the card, where you can get access to the UFC 311 fight write-ups, get 6 pages, 7 and sometimes 7 pages of notes on every single fight so that you can break it down from nose to toes and have the most possible information. Get access to all these phenomenal matchup stats, all of these phenomenal over-under betting models, all of the betting templates, the access to the Discord with all the tracked bets, the access to all of the subscriber-only content. How about 4 hours of probability and balls deep breakdowns available only to people on the Patreon and Dub Club? So join the Patreon and Dub Club, and let's get this Greasy 4-leg parlay knocked out of the park here. Leg number 1. I wanted to wait for Tagir Ulanbekov to look good on the scales. I think Clayton Carpenter's a great prospect, and I think that this is a great test for him right now. But Ulanbekov showed up. He was one of the first people to the scale, and he didn't look like death warmed over to me. So I'm picking Ulanbekov to dominate the grappling exchanges of this fight, keep the striking exchanges fairly close, perhaps win those as well. But I don't think he's going to have the ability to be able to finish a young Clayton Carpenter here. I just think he's going to get the nod on the scorecards. So leg number 1, winning method on DraftKings here is going to be Tagir Ulanbekov to win by decision at minus 120. Leg number 2 here is going to be a fatter line where we've got Grant Dawson's money line. There it's listed at minus 250. But actually it's moved to minus 245, so we're going to get a little bit better of a price. I told you guys, I think Dawson's going to dominate this fight. I think he's going to get to Ferreira's back, and I could see a knockout, I could see a submission, or I could see a dominant decision where he gets takedowns, control time in every single round. But I don't like how Ferreira gives up his back constantly in scrambles, and I think his takedown defense is below average, and those two things are holes in your game that you simply cannot have against somebody as efficient and opportunistic when it comes to getting the dominant positions on the mat as Grant Dawson. So I really like Grant to win here, and I think he's going to win this one any way he wants to. So minus 245 brings us up to plus 158 after 2 legs on this parlay. Leg number 3 is my biggest bet of the week. It is the Almeida Spivac fight doesn't start round 3. I showed you guys my over-under betting model for this fight. It's the most plus EV bet according to prior stats on this slate for this fight. And I believe that Spivac either gets a knockout in the first or second round, or I think that Almeida gets a submission or a knockout. I don't like how Spivac looks off of his back. I know he got that armbar last time out against Marcin. I think that was a complete fluke. And I think Gilton probably gets a takedown in the first 15 seconds of this fight and starts working to Spivac's back. If he sells out too hard, I think he could wind up underneath Spivac and wind up getting his head pounded through the canvas. And if he does do it efficiently and moves from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, I think he's going to finish Sergey on the back. I think he's too athletic. And I'm hearing that Sergey's barely training for this fight anyway, so I think he's probably going to get his ass shaved. And you know, that's what Almeida does. I mean, if he's minus 500 to win this fight, you know he's only been to decision once in the UFC, and it looked like that was on purpose. It looked like he did that on purpose. Tried not to finish Derek Lewis. So, yeah, I think he's going to get in there, get the job done, and do it at minus 180 for us. So if we go up here, and if you cannot get fight doesn't start round 3, I'd be fine with an under 1.5. So, you know, if you're one of these people that doesn't have access to books that have the round start props, you can just take the under 1.5 at minus 120-ish this week and make that the third leg of your parlay. But we're going to go to round props to start round X, and we're going to scroll down here to Almeida versus Spivac. No at minus 180 brings our 3-leg parlay up to plus 301. Leg number 4 of the parlay. It would not be a greasy 4-leg parlay unless we had Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the weekend there, ladies and gentlemen. And I think Ranier the Ritter is going to shave ass. And we have got him at minus 122, bringing this 4-leg parlay, which was at 626, now up to plus 630. Leg number 1, Tagir Bekoev to win by decision. Leg number 2, the Grant Dawson money line at minus 250. The leg number 3, Almeida Spivac fight does not start round 3. Fight ends in rounds 1 or 2 at minus 180. And leg number 4, Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, Ranier de Ritter's money line at minus 122, brings us up to plus 630 on DraftKings. Who's ready to stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC 311? Let's see who's hanging out in the chat here today, you guys. Let me scroll all the way up here and see who's hanging out. We got Disperdek in the room saying, "Oh, what is up, Disperdek?" And he's saying, when everyone was losing last week, I had a pretty good week last week. I didn't make much money on the track bets, only up 0.1 units, but we did have 11-3 on picks. And picked a lot of underdogs that cashed, like Mackenzie Dern. Like we cashed on Christian Rodriguez at plus 240. We cashed on Bruno Lopez at plus 250. Had some good underdog picks last week. We got exclusive gold in the room saying, "Oi!" We've got Ramora saying, "Oh!" We've got Chincheck MMA saying, "Oi!" We got Money Moicano cannot afford to lose money. And Sam's like, he can now. He's fighting Islam. But Chincheck saying, yeah, he's going to get ran over. Yeah, it doesn't get an option, really. Islam going to beat Moicano like he owes him money. Rest in peace to my parlays, says Sam. Yeah, it's always hard to try and beat the lines or wait until after weigh-ins. Yeah. Degen Perez, Reese parlay. That'll be a big plus money number because they're both underdogs. Waiting till weigh-ins is safe, but that's also how you lose out on easy underdog money sometimes. It can be sometimes, yes, for sure. It just depends, you know. I mean, I think sometimes the scale is a lot more important than it is in other areas. Yeah, that could be a big hit if it hits. We got Tito Lino in the room saying, "Let's go." We got individual bets on them both and also a sprinkle on Perez by sub. We got Chincheck saying, "Let's go." We got Lerner Tien today, Australian Open, 1.9 euros. All right. I don't know what that means. We got Home Wrecking Knee Knocker in the room saying, "Oink." We got Dan Nord in the room saying, "Stupid Armin rumors all week. He not right. Why wait until the last minute?" Who knows, man? Who knows what happened there? I think that for him, it might have even been like, I don't want someone taking my spot, like this is my title shot. And even though I'm not going to be able to make it this week, if he waits till the last possible second to tell everybody, there's less chance that they get a competent replacement in there that could put Armin back to the back of the line, because you got to believe that Armin's crushed about this. He gets his title shot and then he's not fit to fight, when they need him to fight. So it's a shame for Arman Tsarukyan, man. I don't think it's a bad fight, but it's a last minute thing. They had a last minute shuffle. It's what happened. What a wild fight week, says Flo. You got that right, man. Islam bettable up to minus 200,000. Arman is shitting pants. Oh boy, that's not good. Makhachev is going to wipe the floor with Moicano. Moicano wants money. We got Sam still rooting for Marab. We got Forrest Daniels in the room saying, "Oi!" We got Forrest saying Money Moicano unfortunately slaughtered lamb for Islam. Jester is saying they should move Grant to Moicano's spot. Benny versus Dawson would be a low-key banger. Yeah, that would be, actually. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, Benny's striking is better than Grant, that's for sure. Nobody talks about how well looks Weezy's hair. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that, man. My head of hair is my greatest accomplishment. We got Uncle Fabio Weezy. Got to find some more spots for my Dariush Makhachev void money. Yes, now there you go. People are fudging nuts if they put money on Moicano. He says Electric Dal. Uncle Weezy with that sick flow. There we go, man. We got Moicano versus Dariush at good prices on the over-under props. Rest in peace, says Safety Vest. We got Rodrigo saying, in what world is it valid that people pay $2,000 tickets for a main card change? Are there partial refunds or something like that in place? No, there aren't. They're never going to give refunds, dude. We got Michael Sabatin in the room saying Moicano. You got Glenbot in the room saying, sup, gentlemen. What's up, Glenbot? We got Remdog saying Uncle Weezy's Patreon is plus EV. Well, Remdog would know. He's on the Patreon. I appreciate you, Remdog. Rodrigo saying never looked good a day in his life. No, Tagir never did. Never did. He's not a handsome kid. That's why he had to work hard in the wrestling rooms, because Tagir wasn't going to be a model, He just wasn't going to be. Sup, Uncle Weez, says my guy Bunk Hoots. Where do I throw my Dariush pocket change now? Throw it on Zach Reese, man. He's big plus money. That's for sure. I'd like that one. Need a big plus money banger. There you go. Go Reese, dude. I like it. What a disaster this card became. Yeah, we've now got 3 different fights. You had Elekana stepping in on short notice. You got Bekoev stepping in on short notice, and then you got Dariush Moicano's off, and now we got Moicano versus Makhachev. Glenbot saying Rosa KO worth a sprinkle at 10-1. That's what I went. I went with the 7.5-1 rounds 2-3. D Spearman's in the room saying, Uncle Weezy, what's up, D? We got Benino saying Money Moicano's getting subbed in 2. Islam is too much. Islam is so fucking good. We got Remdog saying, you telling me a mountain man can't win 1 out of 5 in a fair fight against a Japanese? Sprinkling Naimov money line. Or are you talking about Gafurov. Gafurov, there you go. I hear you, man. Well, why not? It doesn't matter. I agree with that. I think so. Nakamura by Kimura, 50-1 on BetMGM. You think that's how he gets it done, Juicy? That's a big number. Benino likes it. Moicano wins, says my guy Mountain Man. We got Rodrigo says Moicano submitted in under 2.5 rounds. We got Salem in the room saying Tercios versus Sope to go the distance. Yeah, I'm picking that one to go the full 15. I don't think Sope is going to necessarily be a finisher at this level. And we know that, Tercios isn't much of a finisher either. So I think it goes the full 15. DXJC in the room saying he cannot afford to lose and you cannot afford to fade him, especially at minus 900 for sure. Perez slows down because those cheeks so damn thick, Weezy. No, you got that right, brother. I'm 100% with you there. What's good, says Larry. Good hanging out with you. Good, Larry. Good to see you hanging out. We got Glenbot saying Remdog, Muin KO if you sprinkle him, but I'm big on the under 2.5 like Weezy. Yeah, I think the Muin KO is very live because he swings for the fences. Moicano listening to House this weekend for sure. Moicano needs Arman to not make weight so he can make money, and he got what he needed, man. I think Perez can get 2.5 takedowns. I picked lower. I think she could get 2.5 takedowns. Yes, I think she could, but not a lot of fighters get more than 3 takedowns in a fight. That's a high threshold for any kind of an over. So we'll see. I mean, Hosa is going to have to stuff some takedowns there for sure. Yes, I already. We all saw what RDA did to this man on short notice, drinking beers or not. Benino says he thinks that Sopai can crack him. Yeah, Sopai does hit hard. Armin got stage fright. I don't think so, man. Bar Catastrophe should hit. Reese round 1 worth a quarter unit. Yeah, I like Reese round 1 as well. I'm picking him to win there. We got Greenbat saying which fighter to win this Saturday by KO, submission, and decision. So for KO, we're going with probably Reese or Almeida or Talbot. For submission, I'm thinking Makhachev or De Ritter. And for decision, I would say Nakamura or Ulan. Well, I would rather say Ulan Bekoev or Rosa. We got my guy Wiz in the room. What's up, Wiz? Good to see you hanging out in here, brother. Saying much love right back at you, brother. Hope you have a great 2025, my man. Bro getting against Reese is smart, is not smart. Yeah, I mean, but Bekoev could get takedowns and win the minutes of the fight. The prop for Dawson decision or Carlos KO is juicy. Interesting. I'll have to take a look at that. Is there any value in rounds 1 or 2 plus 350 for Reese? Yeah, I think that's a pretty good number. I like that number, Ramora. I made my bet on the money line before the props came out. And let's lock in these picks so we got them, you guys. All right. Oi, what terrible news for the main event, says Aussie Fight Fan. I know, man. You never want to see that. You never want to see a championship fight get called off the day before the fight they're supposed to fight. So, oh yeah, I did. But remember, Rubeski destroyed CDF in round 1, and Rubeski then gassed out. I think when it comes to getting takedowns and then getting the dominant positions from those takedowns, I think Dawson's a lot better than Rubeski is. Carlos can absolutely scramble, Salem. I am right there with you, brother. He's excellent scrambling, but he gives up his back in those scrambles a lot. And Grant Dawson is just an expert at getting the backs. CDF a gasser a little bit, man, especially when he's facing relentless wrestlers. And we got T-Saw in the room saying, "Oh, thank you, Weezy." What's up, T-Saw? Thank you for hanging out with us today. We got Edie or 80 Abraham saying, "Is it true Armand took his toys and ran home?" He did, man. He's got a bad back. And as somebody who's had some back spasms and back pain before, you're not fighting at a high level when your back's all messed up. That's for sure. We got Jeff Reynolds in the room saying, "Money Moicano, mooting fuck." Let's go, baby. We got Mushroom and Sneak watching at work. Appreciate you, Mushroom. Thanks for hanging out, brother. We got Safety Vest saying, "Just take Reese money line. Good game, underdog." Yep, I agree. What's up, Mushroom? Money Moicano. We got, Islam. We got Mushroom saying, "What's up, Glenn?" We got OJ Shoddy saying, "Did you hear about the news, Weezy?" I sure did, man. Unbelievable. Oh my God, I wake up and half the card can. What the fuck? Why? Daz Files hanging out, man. You woke up to this, man. Benny, oh my God, my best bet. LOLs. Yeah, that's what always happens, man. Moicano now fighting Islam. Really? Yes, he is, dude. That's the main event. Sup, Daz? I'm in the same boat. This is madness saying, "What's up to Mushroom and Glenn?" We got Holden Baldassi in the room saying, "Bekoev decision, Sopai decision, Nakamura decision in under 2.5 rounds. Zach Reese, Grant Dawson, Bogdan over 2.5. Almeida KO, no distance, Barcelos submission." Those are all decent spots in my opinion. I'm not picking the Bekoev decision, but I think that's how he wins, is by decision. And I've got most of those other ones. I got Reese, I got Dawson, I got Bogdan by decision. I don't know what the over 2.5 you're talking about there. Almeida KO, I'm picking. No distance, Barcelos submission. Murad to win. His striking looking sharp and cardio wrestling are top notch. He'll give Umar the vet lesson and take his O. Still, Barcelos for the upset. If Barcelos gets the upset, the Parlay boys are going to be in shambles. We got Daz Files. Oh, you had Benny at plus 175. God damn it. Holland by KO, says Jacob Cole. I think that's how he wins this fight. I don't think he's going to win the minutes of this fight. I think if he wins, it's going to be because he stuffs the takedowns or gets on top and lands some nasty ground and pound or knocks him out on the feet. Joe Free says, Money Moicano. We got Tarzan saying Renato Moicano is a dog. You damn right. Small but Big said, Weezy, please get help, brother. Jamal is mentally broken. Jiri is the stronger guy with more momentum on his side. When you watch the both walkout, you're going to want to hedge all your Hills. But I don't have any bets on Hill at all, Small but Big. I don't have a good read on that fight. I think it could play out in a number of different ways. I think Hill could get a KO. I think Hill could get a decision win. I think Prochazka could get a knockout. And I think he could potentially even win a decision if he lands the bigger shots on the feet, because he's going to be the one pressuring, trying to walk down Jamal Hill. But yeah, I'm not touching that one, Small but Big. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. Jacob saying, Weezy's got a damn good eye on pegging fights that are supposed to end in violence going to decision. Yeah, man, I think it's something I've been better at lately, but now I'm a little bit worried that angle isn't going to be as profitable now that the old gloves are back, and we might see some more finishes. But either way, man, some of those, that I do pick to go to, like I had Bruno Lopez winning by decision last week. That was a bold fucking call, and it wound up hitting. And I do see some of those spots sticking out sometimes. Uncle Weezy, thought on Tagir's sub decision and Rinya KO decision. Like them both, actually. I think those are the best ways that, I think Rinya could potentially get a submission, but I think that because we've never seen Muin Gafurov knocked out before. So we've only seen him submitted. So I think potentially we could see Rinya get a submission, but I think those are both good looks. Money Moicano, ours, Islam for the belt. Really, is this true? Yes. We got crazy weigh-in day. You got that right, man. Hey, Weezy, Marab's going to kick some butt unless judges do him dirty. It's a decision. We all know that. Yes, that's what I think too. I'm picking him to win and picking him to win by decision. Moicano wins by sub too. That would be awesome. If he submitted Islam Makhachev, won the lightweight championship, and that would be the best post-fight interview ever. Yes, Moicano has been announced. Yes. It was close to 50-45 can be. He just slightly edged out each round. That you're talking about the Umar versus Sandhagen fight. And I feel the same way. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was 48-47. It was a very close fight. I still thought Umar won all 5 rounds, but it's not like he kicked his ass. He never once had him hurt. He never once had him in a really bad, position on the ground where you're like, holy shit, I think he's going to finish it. He just won minutes. And he won him by this much. I would have bet Marab if his leg was fully healed, but it still looks bad. Fun fact, every submission win by Moicano is by rear naked choke, all 10. That's you damn right. He's an expert back taker, and that's how he finishes the fights. What's wrong with his leg? He's got some bruises. The one area I'd say he's better in is getting and finishing from the back, says Larry. Odds going to be Islam minus 1,000. I think they're almost there. How's Umar by split? I don't mind it. I think that's a pretty good way to look at it, potentially. I think it's good because he's undefeated. Even if it's a close fight, normally you would just think that the champion would get the nod in a close fight. But if the opponent is undefeated, those judges hate, picking against undefeated fighters. Joey saying got Islam by KO at plus 200. Moicano is 2-3 to the KO. Yeah, I think that's a potential good look there. Umar is going to smoke him really. Armand Blue is back out wrestling with Nina Drama. Islam minus 1,000. Moicano plus 600. Yes, father's plan. They don't lose. What makes you want to bet against them? They prove you wrong time and time again. Shaking my head. I don't know, man. A lot of people thought Austin Bashi was going to go out there and destroy Christian Rodriguez. I bet on Rodriguez because I knew that the number was off. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe he does go out there and win. But, father's dead, you guys. Abdul Nurmagomedov is dead. He's a dead man. He died in 2020. It's now 2025. So, father doesn't have a plan. He's rotting in a grave somewhere. So, and don't forget, Umar Nurmagomedov put Diesel in a car that doesn't take diesel and ruin the fucking engine, you know? So maybe father's plan was like, send that kid to the Muay Thai school because he's too dumb to wrestle. We'll see, Slim Deuce. We'll see, brother. Rob never upset me in any bet so far, so I don't care about no father's plan, bro. Randy Bull Bandy is in the house saying Moicano's striking is not good. Dude lost the striking exchange in the third against a one-eyed BSD. Yeah, but he was also exhausted from beating Seven Shades of shit out of him. And don't forget, Moicano went out there and won a 3-round boxing match against Calvin Kattar. The striking is pretty good, man. It's pretty good. He said he was training southpaw in case. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. The second round, right? Because that was the round where after the second, the doctor stepped in. You don't care that there's 4 fighters that are combined 90-1. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Nope, especially when they come in the UFC beating a bunch of nobodies. Yeah, that's for sure. Smash that like, people. Yeah, I mean, like, Umar Nurmagomedov's opponent 2 fights ago was Beksat fucking Almakhan, all right? He shouldn't even be taking a fight against a nobody like that. Moicano's been training 5 rounds, Weezy. He was thinking he was going to be the backup already. No shit. I did not know that. We got Maraba's no defense when it comes to kicks, no BJJ capabilities, disadvantage in scrambles, and most importantly, confidence and mentality. Okay, well, tell that to the gold medal wrestler, Henry Cejudo, who got out-wrestled by Merab Dvalishvili in rounds 2 and 3. Tell that to Peter Yan, who maybe he shot 50 takedowns and over 40 of them were unsuccessful, but how many rounds did Peter Yan win with that motherfucker sticking to him like glue for 25 minutes? And let me ask you this, Slim Deuce, who do you think has better conditioning? You think it's Umar? You think Umar fights good in a phone booth? Because this is going to be a fight that's in a phone booth. This is about numbers. It's not about this. You know, I like Umar. I mean, I think he's a phenomenal fighter, but he's a technical minute winner. Okay? Merab is not a technical fighter. He forces you to fight in ways that you are not comfortable fighting with. Plus 250. Do you know what the math on that is? Do you? It's like 28% implied probability. They're telling you Umar wins 72% of the time. Yeah. Oi, tapping in real quick. I see Unc Live. I'm coming in. Weez was in the top 5 for picks last week. Not a surprise. Appreciate you. Hi, Mark Water had a good week of 11-3 on picks. Larry, one thing perhaps worth noting, Islam is a lot more similar to Beneil than Moicano is to Arman. And Moicano is possibly planning and preparing for this possibility. It's a good point. Question to you. If they come in the UFC beating nobodies, why don't they lose in the UFC? Merab isn't the voice of a champion. First time I disagree with Weezy. Good luck, y'all. Going to put 3,000 on Umar at least. Slim Deuce, you saying beating nobodies? You are the reason why there's more money in my pocket. Well, no. Who the hell did Umar beat? Aged Barcelos, Corey Sandhagen, and if not Khabib's privilege, nobody would know who the hell Umar is. I already bet Merab says take no prisoners. Didn't answer my question, so we'll see. Is Almeida via finish plus Islam and under 4.5 for plus 100 good? I think that hits, Brian. Let's go, says OJ Shorty. Kong's Clips is in the room. What's up, dude? Umar didn't. Everything himself. He worked on his English, worked on his image, and completely showed out in his first main event. Merab hasn't fought anybody that poses. What? What? Peter fucking Yan? Henry Cejudo? Those guys are former fucking champions. Jose Aldo, former champion. His last 3 wins are over 3 of the most dominant fighters in the history of the sport. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Umar has wins over Beksat Almakhan and fucking Hani Barcelos, and he looked minus 150 versus Corey Sandhagen. Yeah. No. Let me see when they come into your message. He was made to take the fight. He's nervous as fuck. Can't even look him in the eyes, and he's getting verbally destroyed. A real threat, these casuals. Merab only shoots that many times if you stand right in front of him. Against rangy fighters, he cannot shoot nearly as much. See the O'Malley fight. I cashed in on under 8 takedowns. That's a good, under 8 takedowns. It worked. But, I mean, O'Malley didn't have a great fight there. Jan is no threat. Okay. Yeah. break the fights down, bro. Obviously, you can't when throwing the nobody card. For Merab, he's on another level compared to all those dudes. Why he asked for a rematch when he already beat them. Umar is on an even higher level as the gap between the two guys is insane. Jan deserved clearly way more after that comeback than Umar, rightfully so. And Jan is no threat, right? Yeah. Why do you think Umar was given Sandhagen? He was given Sandhagen because nobody wants to fight Umar. And Corey's the only guy who raises his hand and says yes. Not Aldo, not Jan, not Cejudo. Jan got demolished, bro, by Merab. Nobody wants to see that. This fight is doing numbers. Sandhagen with no takedown defense. Umar, including Merab. I'll see what the counter, if you say so. Unk, I need help. FanDuel only gave me a single $200 bonus bet and not multiple ones. What's the best bet? I don't want to lose this. If you want to try to get about even money, I'd say Renier de Ritter's money line. If you're looking to cash on something that where you just get the, you're not really worried so much about the return. I really like the fight doesn't start round 3 for Almeida versus Spivac. Talbott KO sub, agree that. Renier KO sub, agree that. Merab decision or submission, I would just say decision. I don't think he's going to submit him. Islam sub KO like that. Fight doesn't go the distance. Parlay Tagir decision. Grant Dawson. Almeida no distance and de Ritter. Wow, you got the Greasy four-legger right there, my man. Let's go, Weezy. Or the man says OJ Shorty. Dawson got that chin issue. Yeah, he does. He does have the chin issue, and that is one dude who can crack in CDF for sure. Refreshing to see a Merab believer. I am an unheard indie. I'm a big fan of indie music, dude. So, Rich Indie, good to have you hanging out in here, man. We got House of Pain saying it's got to be better this week. Nowhere to go but up. Yes, sir. We're getting it back this week, Michael. We got Islam Sopai, easy money. I think that probably hits Chris Penn. We got YouTube. Why did Islam betting odds drop so much? Well, it's because he's fighting a new opponent. Matthew DeCousian saying, I've been laying money down on Merab for weeks. Glad to see we agree. Well, we'll see how it shakes out, man. Merab's got a really tough opponent in front of him in Umar, but I think it's going to be a very greasy, grimy fight, and I think it's going to be very close. El Pinche Wumba in the room saying, let's go. Islam and Umar both by sub. We've got David Lemba saying, let's get it, BB. Oh, let's go, man. Jenna Marie in the house saying, what's up, Uncle Weezy? Good to see you hanging out, Jenna Marie. I hope all is well. We got Hib HLB Comer in the room saying Arman was doing some crazy moves in the Nina interview. I wonder if that's when it happened. That would be wild. If he heard himself grappling with Nina drama, that would be an all-time fail. Uncle Weezy, what is your favorite fight on this card? Making money is easy when you follow Uncle Weezy. I'm really interested to see how Merab versus Umar plays out. I think that's one of the most fascinating stylistic matchups on the card. And Yuri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill, I think, is absolutely phenomenal. Oh, and guys, I see Jailton Almeida versus Sergey Spivac has been moved up to the main card. And so now leg 4 of the Greasy 4-leg parlay is actually going to be Almeida Spivac doesn't start round 4 or round 3. So we're actually going to get a line that we can hedge out if with plus money if we want, because now the Renier de Ritter line, that fight is taking place before the Almeida fight. So leg number 3 is going to be Renier de Ritter. Leg number 4 is going to be Almeida Spivac. Fight doesn't start round 3. All right. We got Yitro saying Islam has fought so many last-minute replacements. Think about it. 5 now? Yeah, I guess you're right, dude. Bobby Green. When I think that's what it is, dude. I think a lot of guys, they just don't want to fight this guy. They wait to the last minute. They're like, you know what? Nah. You know what? Let someone else go in there against this guy. Hollow Heretic is in the room. Arman looked Islam in the eyes and called it off. They put Spivac on the main card, said VTech. Yes, sir, they did. They usually have a disclaimer saying the card main event is subject to change. Yes. Lucas is in the room. What's up, Lucas? We got DXJC. That's usually how they get around needing to give out refunds. You sure on Sopai? No, I'm not sure, dude. I think I've got a lot of questions on SoPi, man. So I'm not sure about it. And I think that Tercios by decision at plus 450 is a pretty wide number. It might be worth sprinkling a little bit. Yeah, poor Moicano is going to get his ass shaved. He's got a tough road to hoe here, Pickle Kush. Let's not kid ourselves. Enlighten my opinion saying, "Oi, from Illinois again. I got climbed by finish last week. Oh my God, plus 1,300. Wow, you know what that was? That was them putting the Dudakova finish line on the Klein side. So congratulations on taking advantage of the mispriced line and cashing on it, my man. That's great stuff. We got Home Wreck and Knee Knocker saying Azan Islam went from minus 600 to minus 900 when Moicano bet his purse. We got Val in the room saying congratulations on the good picks last weekend, man. Few people scored above 10 correct. Yeah, man, I work hard on writing up these fights, so because of that, I think it makes my picks just a little bit better. We got Tom Evans in the room saying Rosa to Ritter, Dawson, Nakamura. I think they all win, Tom. I think that one's going to cash. We got Anakin saying Islam by Darce choke. He's got a great Darce choke. Payback for BSD. Can't wait. I'm sure it has been mentioned, but you guys know Armin pulled out. Yes. Almeida versus Spivac moved to the main card. We got Amanda Ellis in the room saying Weezy's the man. Thanks for hanging out, Amanda. We got Olajuwon Dream in the room saying, "Oh, he's saying he's late." We got Dennis saying, "Don't know how, but money is getting this done." We'll see. We'll see, man. It's going to be a fun one. Money is overrated, says Anakin. Weezy is sharp, says Amanda Ellis. And Anakin saying lost to RDA on short notice. Yeah, I mean, like that was like 3 days notice. Moicano's shoulder still looks messed up. I hope not. We got Olajuwon Lakes Hill. We got so many cappers on Holland, but the betting money doesn't show that. We've seen this before. Yeah, I'm definitely on DeRitter. Trailblazer inside the distance. No, please no. Jamal Hill is the new Kimbo Slice. I don't know about that, dude. Also played violence under 2.5, minus 145. There you go. Yuri under 2.5 is minus 170 value. I think it hits. I think it hits, but I'm picking Hill by decision. It's one of those fights I don't have a good read on, so I have no action on it, Sean. I could see it finishing. I could see it going the full 15. It depends on if these guys' durability holds up. Good cycle parlay. Perez by decision, Reese by KO, DeRitter by sub, 87.68 to 1 on DraftKings. That is a big power number there. It's a decision if Hill does win, but I'm picking Yuri by KO. We got Hill's power is overrated, says Larry Mavid. Spivac is my favorite dog, says Lucas. This year I'm trying something. 1 dog and 1 full fight card parlay. During last week, 1-1. Lots of dogs week 1. Wow, old gloves, all cards going forward. Yes, sir. Old gloves are back. Umar split 900. Marab split plus 1,200. That's interesting. We got somebody on Twitter is saying that Umar's arm might not be healed. Oh, dude, it's healed. There's never been a Dagestani in history that has showed up for a fight less than 100%. These guys don't fight on short notice. They don't fight injured. They will just not show up. So Umar is definitely healthy. There's never, ever been a Dagestani that has shown up hurt, ever. Larry Mavid saying, damn harsh, but harsh because it's true. Pour one out for Abdulmanap, then put money on Marab. Lucas Spivac is the second worst pick on the card after Barcelos. He will not win. No way. No, I think Spivac can win a chromatic because Gilton is completely uncomfortable. This dude does not like getting hit. So I just feel like even though I'm picking Gilton to win, if he makes one mistake, man, it's going to be over. This guy has got no durability. He's got no heart, and he hates getting hit. So if Spivac gets on top of him and starts landing ground and pound, I think it's going to be over. But that's why I love, that's why I really like the fight doesn't go to decision or the fight doesn't start round 3. Archie in the room saying Hill under 57.5 and Umar under 107.5. Are you talking about significant strikes or are you talking about fantasy score, and what site are you talking about? Olajuwon Moicano has same coach as Tsarukyan. He was training against Southpaws in 5 rounds. Seems like they knew this could have been a possibility. That's very interesting. Yeah, training for 5 rounds and and wait, isn't Tsarukyan? Yeah, they're both American top team guys. So maybe he did know. Because if he was banged up, if he wasn't ready to go, the other guys at ATT would be the first to know that maybe Moicano, maybe that Tsarukyan wasn't going to show up. 57.5 significant strikes. Umar under, yeah, I love Umar under 107.5 significant strikes, definitely, just because Merab is going to be hugging him. Merab is going to try to be as close to him as possible. So I like under 107.5 for Umar for sure. Hill under 57.5. I don't know if I'd bet that, my man, because Hill, he lands 7.4 significant strikes per minute when they're at distance. So that's a huge number, especially against somebody in Prochazka who absorbs almost 6. So at that number, you would need this fight to go only about 8 minutes in order for Hill to land that many significant strikes. So I would not play Hill under 57.5 significant strikes, but Umar under 107.5 will like. And Perumpo will already have a game plan. Yeah, he will. Moicano's shoulder still looks messed up like it did against BSD. Meatball saying, funny that Moicano said he thought something might happen and consider they train at the same gym. Yep. We got my guy Matt, the Golden Octagon, in here saying, on my way home from work, but I had to stop in and say, oi, good luck tomorrow, Weezy in chat. We've got a wild one. Yes, we do. Let's get it today or tomorrow, Matt. Good to see you hanging out in here. Sean Rubido saying, Kevin Holland decision plus 550. Man, that'd be interesting if he won by decision. Excited, oh my God. What a stupid comment from, I mean, like, I think that, looks, I don't think Slim's dumb for saying that that Umar is a phenomenal fighter. He is a phenomenal fighter. He's technically perfect. I just think that the style of this fight, getting Merab at plus 250 is a bit of a gift because of the way that he fights. Yo, Slim, you need a bookie, says my guy on Twitter. Chat wild in today. Larry saying the levels of delusion people will go to discount Merab never ceases to amaze me. I think Umar wins, but yeah, I'm not disrespecting Merab like that. We got Larry Maven saying under takedowns was always a good bet against O'Malley because of the odds of him needing more than 1 per round were extremely low. That's an excellent point. Guys, Islam is not even fighting. Yeah, he is. Weezy says COD lives. What's up, dude? Islam saying yes. We got Remdog saying, looks like they moved Almeida Spivac to the main card. We got Gerardo Hernandez in the room saying, sup, Weezy, I'm ready to stack chips like flapjacks. Let's get it. Oh, no. One of us is dying, Bunk Hoots. I hope it's you, dude. I hope it's you, but we'll find out, man. A Trailblazer, obviously a BJJ black belt. So if Rainier does make some mistakes, he could wind up in some bad spots, and he doesn't want to be on the feet against this guy for long periods of time because Kevin's just way, way better in the striking. We got my guy Dan, half the battle in here. Dan Levy, what's up, dude? Saying smash the like button, gentlemen. I always forget to tell people to do that. Hit that like button if you feel like it. Leave me a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd like to thank you guys for putting me over 4,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. It means a lot. We've been doing this for a few years. And your support means everything. So thank you guys for showing up, for hanging out, for talking fights with me, for joining the Patreon and the Dub Club, for leaving comments, for interacting with me at MMA Weezy on Twitter. Whatever it is that we're doing, we're all MMA fans. We're all trying to make money betting off this sport. And let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC 311. It's always more fun when we do. Yeah, we'll see if Perez gets the twerk off this week. Dawson inside the distance. I'm just picking Dawson. I think he can get it however he wants. I think that he could absolutely win inside the distance, and I think that maybe CDF can make it go 15 minutes as well. We got, if it's me, I'll take that. Yeah, good luck, everyone. Yeah, it's gonna be one of us, right, man? I mean, we'll see who gets the job done. Holland is a different fighter at 185. Takedown defense is atrocious. If it hits the mat, he's cooked. And that's why I'm picking Rainier to win and win violently, you guys. 380 of you guys live hanging out in here with your Uncle Weezy. I appreciate each and every one of you. Once again, hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any of the great content coming up here. The links to the Dub Club and the Patreon are in the description of this video. Check it out. Check out all the stats that I have available, all the fight write-ups, all the information. I'm a provider of really good information for mixed martial arts bettors. And if you want to have access to that information, join me on Patreon. Let's make some money together. Number one in return on investment of all my picks last year, according to UFC Predictions Tracker. Second best YouTube content creator in terms of straight picks on fights. Over a large sample size, you guys. And it's not an accident that that's happening because I'm putting in an absurd amount of work every week. And it's not just for me. Everybody that comes on board at the Dub Club and the Patreon, they get access to that as well. So join me. We will make some money together. Let's do it. Let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC 311. God bless each and every one of you. No stat diggers on Sundays. We've got next week off. But after that, we go to the happiest place on earth, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, for the UFC Saudi Arabia card that is headlined by Israel Adesanya and Nasruddin Imavov. I'm putting together the stats package for that. Look for that by tomorrow on the Patreon and the Dub Club. And let's have a great week betting on fights, everybody. Take care. Have a great weekend. And let's enjoy UFC 311.